born of the Father, he sinned, he's a liar, the truth not in him. So according to the scripture.
Wait, what? I have no idea what Jesse's talking about right now. Of course we all sin, no?
He said that he cannot sin if he's born of the Father.
I don't know what he's quoting right now.
I'm not familiar with that specific scripture, but I would totally agree with you that as a Christian you should live free from sin.
Why don't you do that?
I think I tend to live free from sin.
No, you just say you sin.
I think that's a really reductive way of taking what I was originally saying, which was that, sure, there have been occasions where I've sinned, okay, I might have fornicated or things like that, and I would say that to do that would be almost, like I said, a separation from God. I think that's, I would not be a person that's like actively fornicating, things like that.
So is fornication a sin?
Sure.
Where is that?
What?
Where is that?
Oh my goodness, it's in Corinthians.
It says that fornication is a sin.
Well, what it does is it lists a bunch of sins, and it says, from all of these things come fornication, backbiting, adultery, so on and so forth. And it lists all of these other things.
But it doesn't say fornication is a sin. It says come sin and come guilty.
Sure. Okay.
So sin is not the fornication. Sin is the reason you're doing the fornication.
How do you define sin?
A man or woman who say God. Anyone that has anger, is still God.
But what about the scripture that says be angry and sin not?
Right. You see it but don't hate it.
So, wait, the scripture tells you to be angry and sin not.
Right.
Because it recognizes that anger is a natural emotion that we probably
do you have anger?
I think the specific things can make.
He's going to ask the same question again.
Do you have anger?
I think on occasion, yeah.
You do have anger?
On occasion.
On occasion, you do have it. It just comes out on occasion.
Sure, I think it's an emotion, yeah.
And did you
pretty watched
anger? Any male that has anger is a female?
You can't be serious. What does that mean?
It's not normal for a male to have anger.
Okay, what do you mean by anger then? You have to make
a male that has anger has his mother's nature.
Why do you for hell over million hours? Because I'm going to kill shit, okay? Not have a cuck class.
Any male that has anger has the mindset and emotion of a woman.
Okay, what do you mean by anger? It has to be different. When you have, what does that mean exactly?
Anger, any anger period.
What does anger mean?
Meaning that anyone that has anger is judgmental.
Okay, but I'm asking you what it means, and you're saying
it means that they're walking in darkness.
So anger just means walking in darkness.
If a male has it, he has his mother's nature, and if a woman has it, it's natural, unnatural for her to have it. But men are not naturally that way.
Okay, you're struggling to define it, but that's fine. What
I'm
about
not struggling to define it. I said that anger is anyone a person who's walking in darkness.
A person who's walking in darkness has anger.
Yeah.
But what is anger?
It's the nature of Satan.
It's the nature. Okay, there we go. I appreciate that. So anger is the nature of Satan.
Yeah, and it's passed down to you from your mother.
So what would be the difference between anger?
Fucking women, true.
Wrath comes from anger.
Okay. And is that the only way that wrath comes?
Yeah.
God has displayed wrath plenty of times.
You can correct people without being angry at them, but totally disagree with them because you see that as wrong, but you also see they can't help it. And so you don't judge them, so you still correct them.
Okay.
It's perfect law.
So God has displayed wrath. God has actually admitted that he has wrath.
Right.
And you're saying wrath comes from anger, and anger is walking
But
in
God
darkness.
does not have the anger that you guys have anger.
So it's a different kind of anger?
He has
righteous,
anger.
right?
His anger is not emotional.
But you said wrath only comes from anger.
But there's a right one that comes with perfect love, and there's a wrong one that comes with anger.
So there's a righteous wrath that doesn't come from anger.
Right.
Okay. So then wrath doesn't exclusively come from anger.
The evil kind of.
Okay.
The judgment kind of. But let me ask you this because of that.
We can move past it.
If you're a liberal.
No.
Are you a liberal?
No.
God, yeah, listening to Haas talk to this guy.
And so what are you?
Well, man, I guess it gets a little bit more complicated than just that dichotomy. I would say I'm a conservative progressive.
What does that mean?
It means that I was raised with really socially conservative values, and I think those things probably have a really strong impact on my outlook on life and my decision making. However, I recognize that economically there's plenty of reason for progressive values in order to offset some of the damages caused by the best system in the world, which is capitalism.
What are socially conservative values?
Well, I believe very much in traditional marriage. I believe in not having children out of wedlock. I definitely believe in like just strong family units and how absolutely important that is and integral that is into rearing life, into community in general. I guess those things are, I would say, pretty conservative values.
Do you support LGBTQ stuff?
In various ways, sure.
Is that wrong or right?
How do you mean?
To be a LGBTQ person, is that wrong or right? Their lifestyle.
So I would say spiritually, I would say that sort of lifestyle is probably not consistent with like biblical teaching. So I would say it's wrong in that regard. However, I would also recognize that I don't have the authority to judge and condemn other people for the way that they choose to live. And I recognize.
How am I getting 50% chance to hit?
Christian, so I allow them to.
Is this guy having abilities? He must.
I tolerate, or whatever word you would like to use, their lifestyle, allow them to live the way that they want to, and respect their decisions while recognizing that they're not Christians, or at least I would imagine, I think being like that sort of lifestyle, those sort of actions would be inconsistent with them.
You see it as being wrong.
For myself, I absolutely see it as wrong.
Even though they're doing it, you see it as being wrong for them too?
For sure. I would say it's wrong, but I also recognize that if they don't believe in God and don't submit to submit to Christianity and the Bible.
One thing I will say, I'm torn on it. I don't know how I feel. One thing about this game, a big part of this game is a lot of the like abilities and everything are put on like a 50-50 thing. So there's a lot of literal coin flips, not figuratively, like literal, like 50-50. Like everything's like 50 blinds, 50% chance to hit, dodges, 50% chance of that. Like I don't know how I feel about that, but.
As their authority, then they're probably going to live in an entirely different way, that's up to them. I believe there's a truth, and I think the Bible is an objective truth, but I recognize I don't have the ability to push that onto it.
You said that you were considering progressive, and what is progressive about you?
Well, I very much believe in things like reparations. I think that's like a great idea for various problems. I believe that we probably need expansion of various social safety nets and things like that in order to shore up some of the problems that happen from late-stage capitalism.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
People in general, like society.
So all people should get reparations?
I would say people for which it's appropriate.
People?
I don't think all people are required.
Who are you referring to that should get reparations?
Okay, so I think Native Americans need specific reparations of some kind. They've already gotten it.
Why do you mean?
Because of some of the previous damages that have been done to them.
What was done to them that was why that they need reparations?
Oh man, unfortunately, being honest, I'm not strong enough in Native American history to give an answer to that. Like,
you know why? I don't know. All I want to do is buy some more pot with it.
Okay. I don't have that area to study.
Peyote, right?
I believe it. I believe that's probably a
Peyote? Peyote?
Pot when you're smoking today. I'm not smoking, but people smoke.
Yeah, white Americans smoke it too now.
Equal rates. And so,
for example, okay.
What is positive affinity changes? Like building relationships.
People who were denied the GI Bill. I would say there should probably be reparations for that. I believe that the Japanese in the internment camps deserved reparations. Fortunately, they got that.
Well, who deserved? You say you believe the reparations to them, and you believe it for the GI people?
Sure. Anyone surviving that was
they fought for the country.
Absolutely. So you would agree that they should get reparations if they were denied it?
We somewhat take care of them now. I think we should do a better job at it, of course.
For sure, but the GI Bill specifically, we created that with the intention of helping people specifically who have been in war, and that would come back and then not be able to assimilate properly.
Reparations?
But hold on, just really quickly with the civil rights thing, when it came to the GI Bill, we systemically denied the GI Bill to black people.
That should be correct.
That should be correct. I think we agreed about a lot of stuff, man.
Go ahead. One thing.
Okay, sure. But I think we're both Christians. I think you absolutely believe in the Bible as like the authority. I think you believe in living free from sin as I do. So I think we probably agree about a lot. I think you're probably conservative, maybe more so than I am. But now you're agreeing about reparations for the GI Bill.
What?
The authority of I think it's the ultimate authority, and I think it
Authority of what?
encompasses all things, right? I think it's the authority on how we should live our lives. It's the authority on how we should conduct ourselves, which I guess is a portion of living our life. I think it provides like excellent structure as far as the way family should be.
Where do you get that from? That the Bible is the authority.
I guess it gets kind of convoluted. I believe God is like literally the creator of the universe, and I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Where do you get that from? That the Bible is the authority.
Well, sure, I'm going through it. That's why I think it's kind of convoluted. I don't want to take up too much of your time here, but I would say that the Scripture like plainly says that no man can come to the Father but by me, and then Jesus Christ himself said, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments," and things like that. So then I would say that. If you have to keep his commandments in order to reap the eternal reward, then clearly it's the authority on what would be right and what would be wrong.
Where do you get it from that the Bible is the authority?
I feel like I just explained that.
No.
Do you some things aren't dictated like verbatim, right? So like the Bible doesn't say, I am the authority, but the Bible does say, I am the way, the truth, and the light, right? So I would say that Jesus Christ is the authority.
I know, I hear a lot of Christians say the Bible is the authority, but I don't know where they're getting that from, and they can never tell me why they call the Bible the authority. There's nowhere in the Scripture that the Bible is the authority.
What do you think the authority means?
The Bible doesn't call, what does it mean? Maybe I'm missing the understanding.
Sure, I would say that it is, I guess I don't have the definition offhand, but I would say the authority is probably like maybe...
What's the next good ability? You said highwayman?
The guiding power, the ruling power, I would imagine.
What do you mean by that?
So I would say that God is the ruling power. I think all of the universe,
no,
all of
the Bible.
Sure. Well, do you believe that the Bible is the word of God?
No.
Oh, maybe we don't agree about it. Okay.
The Bible is the word from God. The word of God is in our heart.
Okay.
The word made flesh.
Okay.
Do you believe that?
I think we're kind of saying similar things, but I guess it's maybe a word of semantics there.
So I want to go back to the progressive side of you.
Absolutely.
So you say you are the other half of you is progressive.
Sure.
And what do you mean by that?
So again, I believe in reparations for like the GI Bill. I also believe in reparations for like maybe some of the historic redlining and things like that, and then the subsequent reverse redlining. I think those things are important. I think we have to examine our education system and recognize how unfairly it's treating African Americans because of the way that it's designed.
Is open vein a really good ability? Or I guess it's a bleed.
Progressive, whereas a lot of people might maybe more appeal to this is the way things are, this is tradition, let's keep it that way.
Were you liberal at one time?
No, I've never been.
You've never been a liberal?
I used to be very, very conservative.
But never liberal.
Never.
Should the blacks are begging for reparations? Should the blacks get reparations?
Well, I would say like the black people who were like denied the GI Bill, yes they should. The black people who were affected by redlining,
so
yes
all
they should.
people in the GI that should not get the GI Bill, just the blacks.
What is that?
Are you saying just the blacks who get GI Bill, or all who?
I would say all the people who were denied the GI Bill, because there were extreme.
Actually, I guess you guys want to watch it.
Huge given out. I think in some states there were less than 2% of the GI Bills administered.
Well, all people who were in the military should get it, never mind the color.
Absolutely. The problem is that the vast majority of them. So if there were no systemic barriers preventing white people in the military.
Well, the blacks are begging for reparations.
For specific things, I would imagine.
No, they just want to think they're ancestors.
So I know
the blacks to get reparations.
If they can tie their situations to direct harms caused by federal guidelines of the government, then yes, I would say this.
Otherwise, they should not get it.
If you don't have any direct harm, no, you shouldn't get reparations.
Do you, let me ask you about your music. You make music, right?
Yes, I do.
What type of music?
I make all kinds of music. I started out as a classical pianist. I was given a gift from God regarding just my musical ear. I started playing the piano before I can really remember. I was about 3 years old, and I now have, I have a really phenomenal ear in the sense that I can hear a song for the very first time and play it back, like completely, and sound like I've been playing it for years. And in church, very often I can play the piano and they will have like a guest singer, and the singer will bring some song that I've literally never heard, and I can accompany the singer and make it seem like I've been playing the song my whole life, having never heard it.
So you make music, like music, music. Yes. You sing to sing?
No, I don't sing.
Oh, you
I
just
play the
make
piano
music. Oh.
and a few other instruments.
Right. And so that's a natural gift for you from God.
For sure, I think it's God given.
Do you believe in internal racism?
Oh, absolutely.
Internalized racism?
Absolutely.
Because I read that in 2020 you put out a video on internalized racism.
Sure, it's
and
very
self-hatred.
experience.
What is internalized racism?
Well, in my case, and I think it can vary from person to person, in my case, internalized racism kind of demonstrated itself in the sense that I had all of these negative stereotypes, specifically about black people, that I realized it gave me this sort of mentality that I needed to impress white people. So that in certain circles, I would change my way of speaking. I would carry myself in specific ways so as to distance myself from what I considered to be blackness. And I felt that I realized that my doing that was based on a lot of these misconceptions and negative stereotypes of black people. And I think that realizing that was really painful for me because it made me realize there was a part of myself that I was disliking.
And so when you be around white people, you will act white?
Sure. I would maybe change yeah, sure. I would change my diction, change my interests, and kind of chameleon-like fit in with white people while doing everything to distance myself from blackness.
And then when you're around black people, you act black?
Sure. I think it's called code switching.
What way will you become black?
I think I changed my diction quite a bit. I think my musical choices would be different. I like all genres of music, except for like pretty much heavy metal. But like, for example, I like country music. I wouldn't listen to country music around black people. I wouldn't like volunteer that I like country music back in the day. Just those kinds of things where it was just anything culturally black, I would intentionally just kind of distance myself from it.
Really? And what made you do that?
I don't know. I was raised in a pretty white society where I grew up, and I felt like I had experienced a decent amount of racism. And I think part of my response to avoid conflict was to just try to distance myself from blackness.
Oh, I see. And today, are you acting white or black right now?
I'm acting like myself.
But you sound white.
I don't think I sound
Well,
white.
you speak pretty white.
I think I
You
speak
speak all
intelligently.
correctly and intelligent.
Do you not think black people can speak intelligently?
No.
Well, what am I?
But I'm trying to figure out now, are you being white with me or are you being black with me?
Oh, I speak like myself. So here's what
But
it
you
is.
sound white.
Okay, I disagree with that. I think black people can speak rather intelligently.
What are they?
Right here in front of me.
No, other than you.
My family, all of them.
Oh, they act white.
I don't think they act black. I think they speak intelligently. I'd say this. So my mother, very college-educated woman, she really instilled very much. And her father, who wasn't college-educated, were really, really big on just speaking properly. And I think we grew up with this as like a, part of just something that was necessary. We got chastised by other children for speaking white.
For the black people.
The black children, for sure. And I think those sorts of things, it created some sort of distance. So in the sense that you start feeling like a loss of a sense of belonging because certain people are chastising you for speaking differently than they do.
Especially in kids and growing up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you start internalizing a bunch of those things and you start feeling like, man, maybe I'm not black enough. Or maybe I'm, and all of those kinds of things. And so I think I've overcome a lot of that. That's
So do you identify more with white or black?
I'm a black man and I identify with blackness.
You
I just
date
realized that
white
all
girls?
of this is a black part of the.
Do you date white girls?
No, I do not.
You don't date white girls?
No, I date black girls exclusively.
When you were white, did you date white girls?
I don't think I was ever white, but I would say when I was around white people, I found everyone attractive. I think probably the last 3 years when I kind of moved more black exclusive.
And so do you, at one time you dated white girls?
Sure.
You were more white?
Sure, I've been with white women.
You dated white women? Oh, really?
Is it? I think, they're women.
What?
They're women, they're just like anyone else.
Do you date Mexican women?
Oh my gosh, those were my favorite in high school. My Spanish used to be on point. Yeah.
So what is self-hatred?
I would think self-hatred is, again, oh my gosh, I think one of the easiest ways of exemplifying it there was this doll test that happened with these young children when they were doing, like, I think from like 4 to 6 to 7 years old, and they had them answering questions about attributes of dolls, white and black. And the kids are able to immediately, like when they ask them about negative attributes, they assign those to the black dolls. But the thing that was the most harmful about one of those things I saw was there was a black kid, she was doing the doll test, and she said so she was assigning all the negative attributes to the blackness, and then when they asked her which doll more looks like you, she pointed to the black doll. So she was calling herself, in that sense, like, maybe indirectly, mean and bad and misbehaved and all of these negative attributes. And I think that a lot of times black people do that. I would call you a pretty self-hating black man, to be honest. Because, for example, you make statements.
You call me that?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, good. You call me that?
Yes.
What do you call me?
A pretty self-hating black man.
What?
Yeah, listen.
And why?
It's not to make you offensive.
No,
it's just
offensive.
Okay, all right. But it's just that you
why?
say things like, I'm black and I'm slow, or I'm black and I'm dumb. And it's like you assign these negative attributes towards black people, which are just not universally applied. We can look at white people in Appalachia and see something that we could see some pretty dumb white people there too.
So when I say
dumbness is just a general thing that can apply to all Americans.
When I say I'm black and slow, the black people think we're talking about all black.
I think when you say you're black and you're slow, you're black and you're slow, we recognize that there are these stereotypes that already exist, and so then when you reaffirm that thing, your white audience views that thing and says to themselves, see, so black people are pretty slow. They tend to apply those things.
So you say when I say I'm black and slow,
people assume
white people
assign that to all.
Think I'm talking about all black people.
I recognize that you obviously have to know the difference between that, but I don't think everyone's thinking so deeply about it, and I would say that some of your constituency will assign those attributes across the board.
And why do you think that?
Because we already see that it happens on a regular basis.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, some of the times when you mention things like criminality within black men, right? Or criminality within whatever. And so you have these people that just automatically assume that black people in general are this way. And so then it's hard for people to distinguish between individuals when they're thinking generally.
So how do you know that that's what white people think?
Well, so there's a number of studies that have already suggested things like, obviously when it comes to like hiring, there were studies that like demonstrated that even black and white people with the exact same resume were when applying for a job, the black people were getting 50% less callback because some of these people in these positions have negative stereotypes about black people, which makes them feel like they shouldn't extend to them the opportunity at where they're looking.
So do you think that if black people were to stop being that way, you know, mean and loudmouth and dirty and white and
that black hatred, there's that self-hatred I was talking about.
Being late.
Was I on time today?
Complaining. Do you think if white people acted differently, the normal people would see them differently?
I think black people already act differently. So we already recognize that black women are literally some of the most educated demographic in the country right now by a percentage. We recognize already that, again, criminality is not very common within black culture. It's disproportionately found in black culture.
It's very common.
It's disproportionately found in black culture.
Disproportionately common.
Disproportionately found in black culture. But do you think that the average black person is a criminal?
Yeah.
50% of black people.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
Oh my Lord! So
But let me ask you
I can see that lack of information to where that self-hatred.
But let me come back to something. If black people were to act civilized,
I think
do you think the rest of the world would see them in that way?
I think black people are civilized.
No, you're not. If they stop robbing and killing,
The majority of black people don't rob.
and hating cops and begging for affirmative action, reparation, and free stuff, would the rest of the world see them as normal people? Normal?
Do you think? First off, I'm just gonna say, the average black person doesn't steal. Criminality is still going to be the minority.
Nice.
So if we take 100 African Americans, not 50% of them are going to be criminals, right? So then that means the majority of them are criminals.
If they were to act normal, would we see them different?
What do you mean by acting normal?
Blaming, begging, robbing, and killing.
So the majority of black people don't rob, kill,
When they go into
hurt,
the
beg.
schools, when they want to get into the white schools, we have to lower the standard to let them in because they say the SNG school is white.
Yes.
Everything's white.
Who's the largest recipient of affirmative action?
That's not what I asked you.
Sounds like white women.
No, I got you, but this is really what he's saying. Hold
I
on.
need an answer for that.
I got you. Just listen to this really quickly.
No.
Okay, go
If they
ahead.
act differently, will we treat them differently?
I don't believe that black people act the way you're saying, so I don't understand. So your question doesn't really seem what.
You don't know we have to lower the standard to let them into the white school?
It's crazy that you say that when the largest recipient of affirmative action is white women. Did you know that?
Do you know that we have to lower the standard to let the black in?
Are we lowering the standard to let white women into
You're not
school?
asking the question.
That's not the case.
No, we don't lower it for the white women. This is black.
Listen, Jesse, I scored in the top 5% of my entire state. So they didn't have
But
to
that
lower
was
any sort of
affirmative
thing. No, I said,
Yeah, I guarantee you didn't earn it.
Oh my God!
all of my state on state testing, I was in the top 5 percentile.
Right.
So while you might say that's
But
affirmative
that's
action,
not real though.
what's not real?
Because behind the curtain they lowered the standard. They saw that was a black student, so they lowered it.
I don't think you have an accurate understanding of how affirmative action works.
At UCLA, they lowered the standard so low now you can't find your way out. So that the blacks can get in.
Okay. Listen, I'm sorry. You don't understand how affirmative action works. I don't know how to.
When you do leave items behind, do you still get credit for dropping an item? Does anybody know?
You think that
lower the standard.
do you think they lower the test scores or they lower the standard for women?
Everything at this point. At
So
first
they just raise the test scores of black kids?
No, they lower it for the blacks. They bring it. I mean, they lower it for the whites and bring it up for the blacks.
Like
so
the test scores?
So they can pretend that the blacks are earning it.
The test scores?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't for affirmative action, blacks would not be in white schools.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know how else to engage with it. I think I outscored like the vast majority of white kids. I outscored
But
the
that's
vast
hard
majority
to
of the
believe
state.
because you're black, and I know that.
That's that self-hatred.
I know that blacks are not earning their way.
See, that's that internalized racism.
Why is that internalized to face reality?
No, it's not reality. Jesse.
Who banned for affirmative action?
So,
Who banned for affirmative action?
white women, they give the most.
They got it because everybody use blacks to get what they want when they want dirty stuff, but what race is fighting for affirmative action?
White women, because they get it the most.
You're not being honest.
I'm being completely honest.
No, it's black people.
Do you think that
Where do you live in America?
Of course.
You don't act like,
Huh?
you don't act like it.
How do I act?
Like you don't know what's going on.
Oh,
But I gotta move on because of time. George Floyd, you know that unemployed drug addict
Oh my God.
with the criminal record?
Sure.
Were you surprised when the blacks blamed the cop rather than blaming the unemployed drug addict for his death? Were you surprised when the blacks did that?
Do you believe? No, I don't see a problem with it. I'm answering your question first.
Yeah, were you surprised when
Wait, hold
the
on,
blacks
real quickly.
pretended that it was the cop's problem?
さて用意はいいな。戦闘開始だ。うるせえ、俺様に勝てると思ってんのか。バラバラにせろ。勝ってこい。海賊の高み。せろ。
ラストソード。
せろ。
覚えとけよ。
悪いなバギー、急いでるんだ。
いいわよ、もっとやっちゃって。俺の力を貸してやろうか。なんか嫌な予感がすんだよな。じいちゃん、用事ってなんだろう。
情報通り来たぞ。奴を撃ち取れ。せろ。勝ってこい。相
手が誰であろうと潰すのみ。
へえ、美味しいとこ持ってくじゃねえか。
せろ。
この俺がやられると。
悪魔の実の能力に頼りすぎだな。
そうそう、その調子でさっさと片付けて。じいちゃん、どういうことだよ。よくわかんないけど襲われたぞ。
久々に鍛えてやろうと思ってな。俺、次はわしが相手じゃ。
まだ終わってねえのか。まとめて干上がらせてやるぜ。せろ。せろ。
始めようか、小僧ども。元気させないと。愛ある拳は防ぐすぎ。
勝ってこい。海賊の神。
今日のところは負けといてやるわ。
新しい時代はもう始まってるんだ。そろそろ次の世代に譲ったらどうだ。
さすがシャンクスだ。もう負けねえ。
いざって時に使えねえやつほどくだらねえもんはねえ。マイト。
The cops thought that George Floyd is dead, but George Floyd was an unemployed drug addict with a criminal record.
So
The last reaction to that.
well, do you think that an unemployed drug addict, do you think that because he was unemployed and addicted, I'm not even sure he was addicted to drugs, but whatever, but do you think because he was unemployed, and let's assume that itself resulted in the compression of his brain oxygen?
You didn't answer my no, I had to what? Of the blacks, when the unemployed drug addict with the criminal record.
Man, you really hate yourself in some way. So no, I'm not surprised.
Are you surprised that the blacks blame the cop and not the addict?
I am not surprised that the cops that the black people, or not just black people, obviously a jury of his peers found that they were not black. Obviously coroners were not black in this scenario. I'm not surprised that the vast majority of sane people were able to recognize that the suppression on his neck resulted in a lack of oxygen, which ultimately caused his death. Both an independent coroner and the other coroner both found this to be true, so no, I would not be surprised that people who had access to the actual information released by the coroner were able to identify that this cop's action by putting his knee on his neck for that amount of time resulted in his death. So no, that's not surprising at all.
You're saying, no, Jesse, I'm not surprised.
Can you imagine if Fanatic went full Fanatic? Like he normally does when he's, or like he does at least when he debates on the Twitch panel, just start like screaming and shit? Oh man. Is this Fanatic? Yeah, what do you mean? Of course.
The blacks blaming the cops rather than the unemployed drug addict with the record, the criminal record.
I that's what you took from that. But let me ask you this: do you blame the coroner?
I want to be clear.
I know. I answered the question very directly.
Are you saying yes? No, just I'm not surprised that the actually black. I didn't hear yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't hear yes or no.
No, I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. No, I'm not surprised. No, I got you. No, I'm not surprised, especially considering the information from the coroner clearly demonstrated that the suppression on his neck was caused by the officer, which resulted in his death. Do you think that a person being unemployed and and addicted to drugs would somehow result in compression in their neck, denying their brain oxygen?
I think that he gets what he deserves. He doesn't care about his own life. If he didn't care about his own life, he would not have been a drug addict and a criminal record.
So do you believe because...
Am I right about that?
I totally agree. Yes, I do agree. I think that a person who values their life would probably not be addicted to drugs or have criminal records.
Exactly.
But would you say...
the knee wasn't on your neck.
Would you... Okay. Did the knee... Where the knee was placed...
Near the neck, but not on the neck.
Sure. Where it was placed. Did it result in the cessation of oxygen and required oxygen to his brain? Medical school, where'd you get this information?
I went to the common sense school.
Oh, so common sense says that a coroner would just lie and make up that compression in the neck.
People around him lied and made it up.
But the coroner
Let me do
himself
this
said...
because of time.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't want to argue about that.
You're right.
Sometimes it's more about it fast.
You're right.
You said, if you didn't hear that, you said you didn't want to pick up food because you would have to drive through wealthy neighborhoods, and you thought the cop was going to pull you over. You said if I could put on a white skin for 30 minutes while I go make food run, I would do that, and I wouldn't feel nervous anymore.
For sure.
Why would you say something like that?
Well, I happen to live in a pretty nice neighborhood. It's like super duper predominantly white.
You live in a neighborhood like that?
So it's on the rich side of town. And I think in the middle of all of the unrest, I would say the trauma caused by the George Floyd situation.
You get traumatized by that?
Absolutely.
How old are you?
I'm 37 now.
And you were traumatized by George Floyd thing?
For sure.
What?
Do you not? Well, I know you're not a psychologist, so yeah, I get it. I know you're not psychology, but sure. So I would say that, and it wasn't just that one.
Are you grown or are you a baby?
I think I'm a pretty grown man.
How are you gonna be traumatized by something like that?
Do you think grown men can't be traumatized?
No.
Oh.
They can if they're in a fallen state, but...
Oh, you have to be in a fallen state?
Well, go ahead, explain
Yeah,
why.
basically, so what it was is I live in a pretty rich neighborhood, and ultimately I recognized that, like, I saw the circumstances around not just George Floyd, but then the surrounding events as well, and all of the other people, Ahmaud Arbery, and so on and so forth, and the lack of accountability for cops gave me pause to consider the fact that if I'm driving, at the time I was driving a much worse car than I am now, and I felt somewhat uncomfortable with the idea that, man, me in this car, in this neighborhood, will stick out like a sore thumb, and I can imagine police officers wanting to give me specific attention being a black man in this neighborhood in this car. And so that gave me a little bit of pause and made me feel somewhat a tinge of trepidation. Ultimately, I would go get the food, but I think that sort of thing, I'm a very risk-averse person. And I would say
so why don't you move out of your little rich white neighborhood?
Why should I?
But you're afraid of the white.
No, I'm not afraid of the white. What is that? I'm sorry. I don't know how you got that.
You've been traumatized.
Do you think that the trauma would
how do you
disappear if I was in a black
travel
neighborhood?
around in your white neighborhood,
I drive
knowing that the cops may be driving behind you? What you doing over here, boss?
I've adjusted and I drive around with faith in God that I will be protected, and that's how I live my life.
Amazing. And you say you're gone exclusively black dating.
Absolutely.
No more white dating.
No.
Why only black?
Well, so I would say that I felt the need. I think it's important for me to make sure that I raise my children without this need for, without experiencing internalized racism. That's my goal. I think it's an important thing because that was a really painful thing that I went through, having experienced it. And so I feel like the easiest way to do that is to instill self-love from the very beginning. And I think a black woman would probably be more equipped in helping my child to inherit that black love and that self-love and to distance himself.
So you want your child to have black love?
For sure.
But black love is dark and evil.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how to engage with that one, Jesse.
Do you think God's love is black?
I don't think God's love has a color.
But what is black love then?
Well, black love is like the love of one because we are black. Like we're not. Although you might forget it sometimes, I would say that the love of ourselves. I would say black love.
But
like
black people
black
don't have love.
ourselves. I think that a lot of times people. What do you mean by that?
Black people don't have love.
There's no Jesse. Do you have love?
No, but most.
Okay. I don't know how to engage with that. I would say that black people have love, but I do think you're right that we are lacking some forms of self-love because of like the historic Jim Crow laws and some of the colorism and things like that have been instilled with them.
That's not why y'all lack love, man. The reason blacks don't have love is that they hate God.
Jesus Christ! The colorism and things like that have been instilled with them.
No, that's not why y'all lack love, man. The reason blacks don't have love is that they hate God.
Jesus Christ! I don't love God.
Because you can't love God and Satan too, man.
I don't love Satan.
Let me ask you this. Do you love white people?
I love every people.
Oh,
Do you
no.
love white people?
Sure, I love them too.
Do you love white people?
I love white people too, yes.
Do you love white people?
I just answered the question.
Do you love white people?
As much as I do everyone else, yes. So I love white
Do
people.
you love white people?
I love black people, so yes, I love white people.
You didn't
Do you
prepare.
love white people?
Yes.
Oh no.
It's such a simple, reductive question, but sure, I take from it what you want.
But why do you just answer yes?
Because it's really reductive.
What do you mean?
Because, well, for example, I love all people.
But I didn't ask you about all
I know you didn't, but if I don't answer it in that way, someone can take away from it if I don't follow it up or provide more context. They can take that, oh, you only love white people.
No, they're taking away that you don't love white because you got to add everybody else into it.
Ooh, I don't know if that's not how language works.
No, I asked you, do you love white people? Sure, I love everybody. Do you love white people? Sure, I love it.
So if the answer is sure,
Do you love
means
white
yes.
people? Sure, I love white people, but I love my dog too.
Why you do my voice so high like that? Knock that off.
So, do you support Black Lives Matter?
No, the organization or the movement?
The movement.
Oh, I support the movement, but I think the movement is distinct from the organization.
And what's the difference between the movement and the organization?
Well, the organization
What do
is
you
a specific
target?
select body.
Probably it's
having
food, huh?
which seems like it's rooted in some forms of Marxism and other things like that, which I completely distance myself from. I think capitalism is the absolute best economic system on the planet. However, I think the movement, I think most people in the movement who would use the slogan and things like that, considering how decentralized the movement is, are
Heyo, Chicksaver. So today we're going to do some build for Scalar. So if you guys don't know, Scalar is back and it starts right away with the week. So yeah. How's everyone? How's everyone doing? I think we're going to start with Extreme. So the plan is going to be, I made the guides already by the way. So the guides are already uploaded for members. And after this stream, I will make it to not listed. I will add that to the early bird section, and we're going to jump on the Twitch event. So we're going to stream like, let's say, 1.5 hours here, and then another 1.5 hours on the Twitch. And after the Twitch stream, the video is going to be completely online. So anyone who basically joins the Discord channel can get access to all the guides after this stream. So if you are watching or re-watching this one, of course, watching this one will support me as well. And yeah, so many of we're going to do both. We're going to do both. But yeah, so basically, if you do want to support me, of course, still watch this one. And also jump onto Twitch will be cool as well. And like mentioned, after Twitch stream, we are going to have all the 3 difficulties uploaded. But yeah, let's see. For beginning. No, that's not seated. Okay. So my plan is going to be, like mentioned, extreme. Let's jump over the gear real quick. And yeah, how's everyone? I really hope there's no delay. So can someone make a delay check for me? Like you press up on the viewers? Oh fuck, I didn't really click on the gear. Canceling music. So this is the gear of my ELAT. Nothing special. Eastern, having an HP set because I bought a new one like this. I have top pieces HP so that we gain more HP for Eastern just to maximize our points. Golga, normal stuff, this in extreme. Okay, Shadow Ninja. I just read that. Is there a big delay? Question mark? Or is that just a small delay? No. After the YouTube stream, we are going to jump on Twitch videos. So the plan is going to be when I go to finish the YouTube stream, I will say, hey guys, in 5 minutes because I have to change my OBS stuff, this, and then we're going to what it's called. Then we are going to stream on Twitch. Kidney, I don't know what you are talking about. So if you want to get banned, I can ban you right away, no problem. I didn't steal anything. JP never had the same score like me, so how about that you gonna shut the fuck up? Come on. Like, first of all, JP never had the same score like me in Okumu. That's facts. Whatever, you can say whatever. Maybe you are even that's living, or you're so dumb. Nothing special. Like mentioned, after Twitch stream, we are going to have all the 3 difficulties uploaded. But yeah, let's see what we're getting. No, let's not see it. Okay, so my plan is going to be, like mentioned, extreme. Let's jump over the gear real quick. And yeah, how's everyone? I really hope there's no delay. So can someone make a delay check for me? Like you, for example, in the US? Oh fuck, I didn't really click on the gear.
Was Destiny's argument really to biped for Bosch and Boschmans? Just to clarify for anyone who got confused by Boschmans and rough name code, Destiny's position was simply that to have social
you.